Hello and welcome to our vodcast from TeleMedia, where we're doing a little series of recordings about some of the trends and key things to look out for in 2026. I'm Paul Skeldon, Editor-in-Chief at World Telemedia, and I'm joined by Anzelle Robertson, our Head of Strategy, to kick about some of the things we think are going to be big and interesting and talked about at our events across the year. So, Anzelle, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Paul.
Excellent stuff. Well, we're doing, as I say, a series of looks at these the key trends of 2026, and today we're going to focus on what I think is this sort of beginning to this idea of sort of productizing connectivity, particularly around this idea of MVNOs and eSIM. So MVNOs, for those that don't know, I'm sure everybody watching does a mobile virtual network operator. So it's essentially using someone else's network to set up a branded mobile network service. eSIMs are electronic SIMs that are just not a SIM card in the physical sense, but act like one with a bit of software in your phone. eSIMs make setting up an MVNO much more straightforward and simple. Why this is interesting, I think, to telemedia and why we're going to hear a lot more about it across this year for sure, is that there's this growing move to sort of sell connectivity as part of the sort of service and packaging and the sort of branded offer. So brands are starting to become MVNOs because they can have a branded offering where they can embed content, services, however they want to sort of market that. Which I think has huge potential for some of
I think
the
I think the
telemedia
banks were
players.
sort of one of the first that started really doing this en masse, weren't they, Paul?
Yeah,
Because
yeah, absolutely.
to a bank, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah,
With a banking app, if I can purchase airtime.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. But I think it's not beyond the realms where it could be sort of embedded in. It could be an MVNO that offers connectivity and a game,
Yes, correct.
or micro dramas, or some
Yeah.
sort of streaming service that's sort of an alternative to the sort of big players like Netflix. It's those sorts of ideas where I think you can bring together a
It would
telemedia
be
offering and a network connectivity into a product.
it would be the flip side of then offering, data to consume whatever this
Yeah,
content is also a zero rating. So
yeah,
I know, that take for example Spotify. They did a very cool trial with one of the African MNOs to zero rate any data that's used while you're streaming on Spotify within your first month of subscription.
yeah.
So again, for a brand like that to simply have an MVNO license on scale and drive
Mm.
subscriptions, that's amazing. Um,
Yeah, I think it's just an interesting. Well, there's several different interesting ways of tying it up, aren't there? That there's the sort of network operator perspective, where obviously they're making money on licensing out capacity on their network. There's the service provider side of it, where they could be providing a service to someone else, a brand who wants to set up an MVNO, or there are sort of service provider companies or content companies who want to do it all themselves, which offers an opportunity then for the billing players to sort of sit on top of that and content providers to do that and the network operators to provide the connectivity and all of that kind of thing. So I think it's potentially a new way of looking at how you distribute telemedia services. And yeah, it'd be
quite right.
interesting to see how it plays out.
You mentioned in the introduction, quite rightly, you mentioned bundling. And
Mm,
just this week, I saw a post on LinkedIn from one of the senior executives at Bango, who, of course, well known for their
yeah.
liquid vending machine solution. And it said his caption to the post that he had made was "Bundle or be bundled." And
Oh,
and I think that echoes what you were saying,
mm,
about brands wanting to bundle an MNO's connectivity into their offering, uh,
yeah.
because it seems to be the way the world is moving towards.
Absolutely. I mean, yes, and he put that way better than I did. Yes, bundle or be bundled. That's actually spot on. I think the other sort of allied side to this is this idea of eSIMs. eSIMs are becoming quite an interesting sort of part, not just of creating MVNOs, but just as also something that can be sold that has bundled in it content or services or billing
Yes.
or network time or all those sorts of things as well. And I think that we're also going to start to see that becoming part of the sort of telemedia play as well, often as part of an MVNO offering, but not always. I think it'll be a sort of separate side project. Interestingly, as well, I was reading or writing about a company called Holofly that are an eSIM company, but they've set themselves up as what they describe as the world's first international operator,
I saw
because
that.
you can basically you get your eSIM from them and you can control how much you spend where, and it'll work anywhere in the world. So it's like a travel eSIM, but
I'm not sure if I'm allowed to names drop to this extent, and we are
oh,
in no
go on.
incentivized to do so. But just on a personal level, I recently opened a Revolut bank
Mm,
account. And I was just poking around its app, and I saw that an eSIM with 3 gig data associated with it per month is
mm,
included in my Revolut banking package. And I thought, well, yeah, I still have a Dutch MSISDN SIM card, and I thought, well, this is too good to be true. And it's not. It is very much true. I've been in 3 different countries since, and the only thing I need to do is activate that eSIM to go, the SIM is active or not active. And
mm.
at the back end, it's doing what it needs to be doing, but I've had connectivity wherever I've
Everywhere.
been.
Yeah, and I think that's a really big part of this. I think it's a bit of a game changer in many ways around the mobile network operator model that you can do this, particularly for people who travel,
Yeah.
but not necessarily. And I think sort of bundling things in with that, is an interesting opportunity that we're going to see a lot more of. So yeah, look forward to hearing from people about that and discussing that more at our events across the year in Barcelona and Dubai and Johannesburg and Marbella. So yeah, so that's another great trend I think for 2026. So
Thanks, Paul.
thanks for joining me to talk about it, and thank you everyone else for watching and listening, and we'll see you again soon.